Hello, I'm Dave and this is Logan, out once again for a walk in the countryside. Thanks for joining us. Now today we're at a place called Wonston in Hampshire. It's a little village about 9 miles to the north of Winchester. And we're going to be doing a sort of 5.5 mile figure of 8-ish route. We'll have a quick exploration of the village itself before heading south along tracks and fields to South Wonston, where there are some very interesting things to look at, and then we'll make our way back to the village. Well, I'm filming on a quite glorious sunny spring morning. It's Easter Saturday, blue sky, very few clouds about. Should be perfect conditions for walking, so do come along with us. We'll start off our walk with a little exploration of the village itself. So I've come to the eastern end and we'll have a look at the church in a second, but I've just gone down a little footpath to the sort of northeast of the church to have a look at the River Diver that's just behind me here. And there's a rather sweet little bridge. I'm looking at a very old map of I think 1909. I think it's called the Giddy Bridge. I'd love to know what the reasoning behind its name is, but anyway, here's the river. It's called the Diver, D-E-V-E-R, rhymes with beaver. A lovely little, well, it looks like a chalk stream. It's about 11 miles long. It rises at West Stratton near Micheldever. We actually got near to the source of that when we did a walk there, and it flows westwards to join the River Test. Now there is a little, well, access point for dogs, but it just might be a little bit chilly today to ask Logan for a demonstration, and a little bit early in the walk as well. Well, this is the Holy Trinity Church. It consists of a nave, chancel, north aisle, south porch and tower. And it's one of the earliest documented churches in Hampshire, dating back to 901 AD. In fact, the Domesday Book records Wonston belonging to the Bishop of Winchester. Now in 1150, the Saxon church that was here was enlarged, and the present nave and chancel are thought to have been completed by 1255. The tower was built in 1520. A fire in 1714 destroyed the roof, and between 1825 and 1830 the north aisle was added and the south porch was added in 1872. There was another fire in 1908 which destroyed the chancel roof, and the whole church was restored in 1909 when a vestry was added. The bell in the south porch came from St Luke's Church in nearby Sutton, Scotland in 1983. I think the church there was demolished as it was unsafe. Well, sadly the church is locked, so we can't go inside, but a couple of things to look at outside. In the churchyard here just behind me is a rather magnificent giant redwood. It really is quite a stunning specimen. And just inside the porch there's the bell that I mentioned earlier, but just either side of the doorway there are some mast dials which you can see here. That's where they would have poked a stick or something, and then, well, when the porch wasn't here, this would have acted as a great sundial to let folk know when the next service was going to be. Well, just as I was leaving the church, some lovely ladies came along and they were putting some flowers inside, ready for Easter Sunday tomorrow. I didn't want to film in there, but they kindly let me take some photographs. So I'll put some photos up on screen to give you an idea of what it looks like inside. We'll continue with our wander through the village in a sort of westerly direction. Now, right next to the church is the old house. and up until the 19th century it served as the old rectory. It may have been the original manor house for the village. Parts date to the 14th century with 16th and 18th century extensions. And I see that there is a rectory on the other side of the river to the northwest, so I guess that must have been the newer rectory. And this is the Wonston Arms. There's been a pub here since the 1800s. And indeed a 1910 map shows it as a beer house. Apparently it won a national award from CAMRA, the Campaign for Real Ale. It was their National Pub of the Year in 2018. Now I was reading a story, whether it's true or not, about a previous landlord who was the driver for the notorious gangsters, the Cray twins. And rumour has it that the pub was a retirement gift to him from the brothers, who became regular visitors. The pub would be closed to the public when they came. And what a lovely beer garden it has as well. Now, I'm filming it, well, it's 10:30 as I speak, and I saw those two over there, and I thought, gosh, they're starting early. But I don't think they're quite as it seems. Well, it really is a delightful little village full of pretty cottages and houses. Lovely barn there on the Staddle stones, and then look at this quite exquisite cottage. And these are, I was reading from the 16th century. I see there's a date of 1520 there. But so well looked after. Okay, so we're just going to come to the end of the village and then turn left and then sort of head to the start of our countryside walk. Well, for the next part of the route, we'll be heading in a southerly direction for quite a while, mainly along tracks and footpaths along the sides of fields. So just come out of the village. Just behind me here is Upton House, very impressive building. Can't tell you too much about it, I'm afraid. But I would say it really is a beautiful spring day. If I just slowly pan round, keep the sun out of the screen, but just behind me here, say this time of year, the crops really beginning to grow, and there's a beautiful lushness to that green as the crop sort of catches the glinting sun. It really is a beautiful time of year. Well, for folks that are going to be doing this walk, we continue southwards past a barn, a farm, a little reservoir behind me. You come to a finger post with a myriad of signs. We want to continue heading southwards along the Watercress Way. Well, it really is a glorious day now, quite warm. Luckily we've got plenty of water for both myself and Logan. We've just passed by a Wonston Manor farm and crossing a track, but not any old track, it's actually an old disused railway, the Didcot, Newbury and Southampton line that was run by the Great Western Railway. It was a cross-country railway, sort of north-south between Didcot, Newbury and Winchester, where it was due to be continued to be built to Southampton, but they ran out of funds. The line opened in 1882 and closed in the 1960s. There was a station to the north of here at Sutton Scotney that opened in 1885. But we will be looking at something to do with the railway a little bit later on in the walk. But in fact, there's not too much to see here. If I just look to my left, say that you can see the track, and there's a little bit of banking or the embankment that the track used to be on. Anyway, we're going to continue heading southwards to South Wonston. Well, a little pit stop to admire the view and the scenery. Just looking over to the sort of west and the northwest. Beautiful Hampshire rolling countryside. We're now at South Wonston Farm. So we're now going to start heading in a sort of easterly direction past, I think it's a polo school by the looks of things. I say, unfortunately, I've left my little map back at the car. So I'm doing this walk by the seat of my pants, as it were. I think we're going to be okay. Fingers crossed. We've now reached the outskirts of South Wonston, still heading eastwards along the Watercress Way, and eventually we'll be heading north back to Wonston. Before we do that though, I'm going to do a little detour further south because there's a couple of things I want to show you. Well, just to the south of South Wonston is this vast open area that's just behind me here. Incredible to think that 300 or 400 years ago, this was one of the top horse racing racecourses in the country. It's the site of Winchester Racecourse. It's about 2 miles round, established in 1664. And in 1683, it became known as Royal Winchester when Charles II attended. I think he died in 1685. As I said, it was one of the finest racecourses, not only in Hampshire, but the entire country. The final meeting took place here on the flat in 1887, but jump racing continued until 1896. And then it was used as an airfield between 1917 and 1987. But I put up a picture of an old map that showed where it was, and I'll see if I can do a layer as well, showing you the old map on top of an aerial map today. Well, we're on our way to look at the second thing that I want to show you at South Wonston, and a little information board here about the Watercress Way. So hopefully you can see this okay. So well, there's Wonston where we started, and we sort of followed this route here. So we're here, and there's something that I want to look at here, but just interesting looking at the whole Watercress Way. We've done a fair part of it. We've walked at Easton, and we've done walks at Itchen Abbas, Ovington and New Alresford as well. But I'll just show you some of the views that I can see. This is looking over to the west. It really is a gorgeous day today. And this is the second thing that I wanted to show you to the south of South Wonston. It's on that, well, it's that same piece of disused railway track that we saw earlier, the Didcot, Newbury to Southampton line. And I've actually sort of walked a bit further south and turned around and come back. So I've got the sun behind you. So we're just going underneath a bridge here. Well, nice and cool. And then there's a little information board on my right which tells you what we're about to have a look at. And this is Worthy Down Halt, built in 1924, although I have seen some sources say it might have been built slightly earlier. Built as a single platform to serve the Royal Flying Corps depot here, and it included a couple of passing loops. The shorter one was used as a siding to provide supplies to the site. Later, the halt or station became a junction spur to connect with the Southern Railway line through to Winchester. And at that point, an additional line was built on the opposite side of the station to provide an island platform serving both the northbound and southbound trains on separate lines. But it all got closed down in the 1960s. And then just to the left behind those trees is the Worthy Down camp. It's a headquarters of Defence College of Logistics, Policing and Administration, as well as the Royal Logistics Corps. Basically, it provides logistics support functions to the British Army, and I think it's the largest corps in the Army. Well, we're now on the homeward leg. If we hadn't have done that detour, then at South Wonston you would have just carried on sort of eastwards along this road, and then look out for a bridleway sign on your left pointing northwards, and that's where we're going now. Wow. Now that is what I call yellow. Oilseed rape, just positively glowing in the sunshine. As far as the eye can see. Extraordinary colour. Whew. Well, folks, we've come to the end of our walk. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please do give us a thumbs up and a like, and do leave a comment. We thought we'd do the end scene here at Worthy Down Halt, and we're going back to the Wonston Arms for a well-earned pint of ale. So until we meet again, thanks for watching, and cheerio.